This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. All right, let's get on to it, man. There are two powerful ways to seduce a woman. I want you guys to listen to this. These are guaranteed methodologies. They're guaranteed variations on how to succeed with the opposite sex. The first one, in-person seduction. When you are with the woman, you need to make sure, everybody always talk about you need to have an experience, fucking experience. You need to be just like what we go and watch at the movie theater. You need to be that movie. Let me say it again. You need to be what we go and watch at the movie theater. You need to be that movie to her. She needs that movie experience. You know how there's nothing like the theater, right? No matter what kind of surround sound system you have at your home, eventually if they get into nanotechnology, they just don't introduce things in movies and then it doesn't manifest in reality, or if it wasn't already there, they're just waiting for the right time to push the technology out, right? There's nothing like the experience of being in a movie theater. Nothing like it. Because you get the surround sound, you get the human element aspect of it, you get to be out and about, you get the social environment of it, you get the fiasco of it, you get the ambiance of it. It's a movie experience. This is what you are going to replicate to the woman, that movie experience. She needs to feel like she's getting dressed for success. She's getting dressed for pleasure. She's getting dressed for the wildest time of her life. So when you're in person with the woman, the biggest thing that you want to do is you want to stimulate her both physically and mentally and physically. The physical stimulation comes in the sense of what we talked about in yesterday's video. Gazing upon her, staring upon her in a 2/3 fashion, 2/3 variation, and in the other 1/3, staring at her body parts, staring at her breasts, staring at her butt cheeks, staring at her legs, staring at her, letting her know in your glaring stares that you want her and that you're ready to tear her up even at wherever you guys go. Whether if it even is the movie, whether if you're at her home, wherever you're at, it needs to be a movie experience. Even if you both are at a cafe reading books together, she needs to be so engrossed, so ingratiated, so endued and subdued by you that she can't focus. All she can focus on is you. And this is how you know that your in-person seduction is working. When a woman's cheek gets cheeky red. I'm not talking about just red cheeks. I'm talking about super cheeky red cheeks. This tells you that she's wet like Niagara Falls down there. She's peaking and she's leaking. You remember the term He Knows Everything used to mention when he was He Knows His Sport, formerly known as? And he's mentioned the term here and there, you got to have them peaking and leaking. Well, this is what the peaking and the leaking is all about. Because she's constantly staring at you. She's constantly looking at you with the nervous energy, dilated pupils, eyes as big as you don't know what. But at the same time, she's wet down there. She's fantasizing about you in a very sexualized manner. Because women can be very sexual. Society has told them that their sexuality is slut behavior. Now, there are a lot of women that have contributed to the slut behavior and have put themselves in that position. But we're not talking about the ones that have put themselves in the position. We're talking about just in general terms. A lot of women feel that if they react in a sexualized manner, they're being treated like a slut. You, in that in-person feeling, have to empower her to make her feel that it is okay for her to be sexual. And the way that this happens is through your masculine frame. The way that this happens is through you keeping your masculine structure. The way that this happens is through you being masculine in the way that you comport yourself, in your general comportment. way you carry yourself. If you notice, if you've had an active father, a father figure, a father role model, a father personality in your life, they've always told you, you got to carry yourself like a man. My father used to always tell me, gird up your loins, grab your nut sacks. There's a reason why he used to always say that. Because at the end of the day, as a man, you got to do this. You got to grab a hold of your stock. Because you always have to, regardless of the moment. Well, in this moment, you got to do it too. But you're doing it in a seductive way. You got to have the calming voice. You got to talk to her in a very oozing manner. You got to lean towards her. Brush your big, broad chest to her breasts and whisper in her ears. She has to know that even if you're saying bullshit, you notice my voice is calming? You're telling her everything that she wants to hear in that moment. Blow in her fucking ears. And I'm not talking about the Lance Stevenson to LeBron James blowing. That's awkward and weird as fuck. I'm talking about the sexualized blowing, where it's a slow inhalation and exhalation of you blowing into her ears. It's seductive. And then you're basically, licking your lips when you're doing this. And I'm not talking about overly licking your fucking lips. Now that can be creepy as fuck. I'm talking about doing it in a way to where she knows that the licking of lips means, through body language, that you will tear her ass up right the fuck now. That you will take her, you will put her on top of the chair, you will spread her fucking legs, and you will beat her to fucking sleep. She needs to know this. She needs to feel it. She needs to ooze it. She needs to buzzle it. Because you have buzzling testosterone. Let me say it again. Buzzling testosterone. In the animal kingdom, if you see the images that I've showcased to you guys, this is how lions and tigers get down. When they want to fuck, they spread them damn legs and they get to work. They go in a very dominant fashion to basically get and unload their seed up in the woman. Well, this is how you have to react in that moment. No one's telling you to grab her, spread her legs, and then just straight fuck her. No. She has to feel that in her mind, that that's what you're doing, that you're mind fucking her. This is what the movie experience is all about in person. Having her laughing seductively as you're telling her seductive jokes, and basically constantly keeping her in that moment to where she's about to climax over and over and over again. And you want her to actually climax over and over and over again. And then once all of that happens, then guess what you do after that? Then right when she's at that moment, when she's thinking this is going to continue, then this is where you go out of in person, and then you go out of person. You leave. You always leave her. It's just like, have you watched Naruto, the anime? Have you watched great shows like Power? If you notice, or the show like Dexter, the New Blood, one of my new favorite shows. If you notice, they always leave you wanting more. You always got to leave her with her wanting more. You leave her at that point to where she's thinking about you and she's like, oh shit, I'm not even done, and he's getting ready to leave and he's about to go and do something. That's when you go from the in-person movie experience to then you go to the out-of-person seductive experience. Let me explain the rules of engagement to the out-of-person seductive experience. This is where you completely ignore her. Ignorance is key. Because when you ignore her, she's going to be wondering about her self-worth with you, her self-value with you. She's going to be questioning herself on so many levels. Because when you were with her, you gave her that experience. You gave her that moment where she just didn't want to leave you. And then all of a sudden, when you're not around her, you are completely not around her. She has to feel that your existence has completely, if I can preference this in key terminology, it has disappeared. See, the problem with a lot of men, they struggle more so with the out of person or away from the person or from afar seductive experience than the in person, because the afar experience, the out of person, the away from the person, i.e. the woman, seductive experience is just as important, if not more important, because this is where you get her to constantly think about you. This is where you get her to drive herself to a point of craziness, because she is now engrossed in her mind thinking about you. We're not talking about obsession. Obsession is dangerous. This is some Jodi Arias shit. We're not talking about that. We're talking about basically her being so locked into just focusing on you. Because let me explain something to you. Women's minds are not as multifaceted as people think that it is, especially when it comes to the man that they want. When it's a man that they want, they have a one-track mind. They are a one-trick pony when it comes to that true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics. They have that one-trick pony mind, because that man is able to successfully do what no other man was able to do. And that was to get their undivided attention. To get a woman's undivided attention, especially in this day and age, is something that is off the charts. You guys are getting the $1 million game here. This is guaranteed game here. This right here is going to ensure that you will have a high level of succession rate. Nothing is foolproof. He knows everything's going to tell you that, because the reason why he knows everything says nothing's foolproof. Now, it's foolproof for he knows everything, but nothing's foolproof for the generalized audience, because you have to work your way to a level to where you can get it to where it can be foolproof. So we're not going to sit here and we're not just going to tell you these things and make you understand that you're not at that level. You got to work your way to the level to understand the terminologies that are being encompassed in this video. Don't worry, every day you're going to get a video like this to explain these things. If you follow these videos in the sequence of how these videos are put out each and every single day, you will become the best mastered version of yourself when it comes to the opposite sex. The out-of-person seduction is crucially important, because in the out-of-person seduction, and you not paying her no mind, out of the 50, the 75, the 100 guys that are blowing her up, she's not going to be fixated upon them. She's just going to deal with them and tolerate with them when she wants to. Now, don't get it twisted. She's going to get validation from them, because women love their attention. They love validation. Let's not fool ourselves and act like that's not going to happen. But here's the thing. You're not the one giving her the validation. You're not the one giving her the attention. So hence, she has to play the cat mouse game with you, because now she has to figure out, why aren't you giving her the attention, and how can she get the attention from you? Get it? You see how this works? You understand it? You're getting how this is working through the corpus callosum. It's working through the cerebellum. It's working through the medulla oblongata. It's working through her mindset. This is what you got to do. This is the experience that you have to give the woman. Once you've given the woman this experience, you've given her this, then guess what? She will be up under your control. Because as the alpha male, the true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics, there's an economics to this. And you have to be an extraordinaire at what you do. You have to control the situation. Remember, like the first video, dominance. Everything starts with dominance. Everything in the body of it is dominance, and everything has to end with dominance. Your outer person seduction has to be complete shut off. You have to shut her ass off. She has to initiate. She has to reach out, and she will. Because of the fact that when you are in person, you've given her the movie experience. Now, if you haven't given her the experience in person to where it's lasting. And when we talk about lasting, we're talking about long lasting, to where she's playing with herself. She has to be playing with herself when she's away from you, and she has to be playing with herself when she's in front of you. You've mastered this. You've mastered both spectrums. And guess what? You will have her at the palm of your fucking fingers. This is when now you can say she is putty in your fucking hands, and you can do with her as you please. Now here's the last observance of the law of all of this. Because if you don't do this, even if you're doing the other two will find themselves leaving you quick, fast, in a hurry like UPS. Let me say it again. If you don't do this one, the other two will leave you quick, fast, in a hurry like UPS. Let me tell you the third element of it. The third element is as simple as maintaining the person that you are the whole time in both aspects. That means when you are away from her, don't start getting needy. Don't start getting, oh, well, you know, she's starting to show high interest, so now let me give her more of my time. A very slight, even a slight variation and fluctuation in that will put you in the same breath with everybody else. The reason why you are valued higher than everyone else is because when you are away from her, you are away from her, and it needs to stay that way. Once you've set a standard with a woman, you can't go back. Have you ever heard Chris Rock talk about this? Men cannot go backwards sexually, but women cannot go backwards financially. Well, women cannot go back through the economics in their mind. So basically, when you set a standard for them, you better keep that motherfucker, or you better reach higher past that standard once you've obtained it. So if you kept the standard to where when you are away from her, you are completely away from her, then you need to keep that standard of being completely away from her. Now, the way to be consistent and authentic in this aspect is to have purpose. See, when a man has purpose, he has confidence and abundance mindset, and he's very busy realistically, and he's occupied, and he doesn't have time to be sitting here and giving all this free attention and time to the woman. Your time is a time of privilege. She needs to understand that you are a privileged individual. So with that being said, when you give her time, she needs to understand that it is a fucking privilege, not a right. It is a privilege, not a right. And when you're in person, you seduce the shit out of her. You always need to have her in that feel good. You know how when people always talk about whatever addiction that they're in or whatever they're taking, it hits their dopamine and it gives them that feel good feeling? Well, that's what you need to be. You need to be that feel good for her every single time. That needs to be authentic. That needs to be consistent. You do this, and you do this religiously. You do this over and over and over again. What you are going to find is a woman that will never fucking leave you. And even when she leaves you, because it happens, even to the best of us, she will realize that in her going to try to find the grass is greener on the other side, she's going to realize there was nothing like you. She will be talking about you to other men, because what she's going to realize is she can't get that experience, and she's going to realize she wants to get back in the fold. Now, there are men that bring these women back into the fold, but they do this style of, I'm going to punish you all the way. You got to start from the bottom. You got to crawl from the bottom. I don't believe in that. My mentality is, if you've left this experience, you've left this level, you've left this, can't come back in. No matter how much you come back begging and crawling. Because if this was the best, then why did you even settle for the rest? Let me say it again. If this was the best, why did you even settle for the rest? That's another video, another time, another day. But keep that in mind. Watch this video 1,000,000 times. Let it stink into your corpus callosum. And notice I use the word stink. Let it stink into your cerebellum. Let it stink into your medulla oblongata. Why did I use the word stink? Because stink means it reeks. You need to let this reek into your pores. Because in understanding these aspects of seduction, in person and out of person, you have mastered the art of making the woman bend the fucking knee, kiss the ring while you're at it, and basically submitting to you at fucking will. I keeps the foot on the whoop. Yeeks. I keeps the foot on the whoop. Yeeks. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.